Hi and welcome back to the Fantasy Insider Weekend Picks. We're another week closer to finals, and that means it's time for another edition where we're finally back to full slates across the board now until finals kick off. And that means there's plenty of games and players to choose from, so let's get started. And we'll start today in the AFL, where the bookies tell us to be a bit wary of the Geelong Bulldogs and Fremantle Sydney games. Both of those games, having totals around the 150 points mark, mean that you want to consider whether there's going to be much fantasy points scored. Elsewhere though, Adelaide, Melbourne, Port Adelaide, Greater Western Sydney are all expected to be big winners in matches that the bookies have as high scoring contests. So I think it's going to be a week where you're going to want to pay attention to stacks, particularly in those 1 and 2 game contests. Interestingly though, our full round lineup here at Moneyball fades many of those popular stacks, which may give us some players with really low ownership. Max Gordon does make the cut, however, as a ruck from Melbourne, but otherwise we're picking and choosing from some of those unpopular teams, with Gunston and Franklin leading the forward line. Rockcliffe in midfield will probably be a popular option, even though he's expensive, although we've got him next to some bargain options with Whitecross, Menegola and Dunkley. While Francis in defence is also another one who's at base salary. Here though, we've gone with him alongside the more expensive but generally consistent Rory Laird in what I think might be an interesting lineup. In the NRL, games got underway last night. Brisbane, another disappointing result. And going by the bookies, North Queensland v Melbourne could be a low-scoring game, so that might be one you want to avoid. Canterbury, West Tigers, Canberra and Manly are all amongst the bigger favourites of the week in that kind of 2-try region. I think the 4-round contest here, though, at Moneyball calls for a stars and scrubs approach with Bunty Afoa and Thane Milne at base salaries, and they provide a lot of breathing space for the rest of the lineup. As for that matter, do Nathan Cleary and Paulie, who are just over 5,000 each. Both of them have, of course, been frequent starters for us in this segment. We take Isaac Luke at hooker here for the Warriors, while spending more in the forwards for some consistent points with Paul Gallen and Sam Burgess. And we've kind of followed a similar method to that with the outside backs, with Tom T from Manly and the Eels, Clinton Gutherson, providing some solid scores in recent weeks that we expect to continue here. Personally, I'm finding this slate a bit frustrating, as if you buy into Afoa and Milne as cheap options, you could enter a really good number of solid lineups covering some of the big scoring options. But with the tournament prize pools for NRL, it's making it really hard to justify entering more than a couple of lineups at Moneyball. And that's it for another week. Be sure to check out the Fantasy Insider website for the next instalment of our DFS 101 series, and as well as some new features that we're going to be launching over the next few days. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the leaderboards.